In the book, you talk about how, I think it was like in 2016, you said you nearly got addicted to Adderall when you were touring with Rihanna. And I was thinking, like, how do you stop yourself? Like, in that moment, like, what was the habit or the tool or the practice? Was it therapy? Was it meditation? What was it that helped you recover from that?
Man, so first of all, Adderall is like synthetic, I don't know. They say like heroin, all these things, right? Like it's just a lot to it. And I'm really into Eastern medicine personally. I used to have a real bad heart problem that I fixed through literally taking magnesium and some other supplements that a doctor told me that I had to get surgery for. They told me they had to cut my heart open and put a pacemaker in it. So when I started taking Adderall, it's because I was putting myself on a clock that didn't exist. I was putting myself under pressure and I was living in a fear-based way. And I started taking Adderall because I wanted to accomplish more. And it was
Did it work?
It worked, but at the expense of so many things. Honestly, the expense of like affecting my soul and changing the person that I was and depleting my body. It shut it off. It creates synthetic dopamine in your brain. So it creates all this dopamine, but your natural dopamine that is responsible for your happiness, for your inspiration, or your creativity, who makes you who you are, it shuts off. It shuts it off. And after a while, you're kind of relying on this synthetic dopamine only. And I remember as time went on, I would go in the studio and I feel like I couldn't do anything without it. And that's when I knew I had a real problem with it. So I went cold turkey. And that was probably the second bout of depression in my life that I went through. That was like, that's when I was like wanting to kill myself. Like I was just like, my mind was playing all these tricks on me, right? And it didn't matter that had a big ass house in Beverly Hills. It didn't matter that I had millions of dollars in the account. And it didn't matter because as great as a lot of those things are, they're still separate. I'm wearing a Lincoln Park shirt. Chester, I can't speak for him, God rest his soul, but like, who would think that like, oh, that someone, who's one of the biggest rock stars in the world in the band, regardless of, what they talked about in their music, like would do that, or the